Galactic greetings and blessings, dear lights. Beautiful, beautiful essences and expressions of light. This is Wendy. As promised, I wanted to finish the oracle portion of the reading. I took a little break. Apparently, my guides decided that I needed to take a little break. It was pretty warm outside as I was finishing the video, as I mentioned. So it was probably about 90s here, about 90 degrees and Fahrenheit, and pretty high up there in the percent, about 65% humidity or so. So it was pretty warm outside. So as I started to do the reading, my device said, "Oh no, I'll have no more of this." And it said, "Camera doesn't work anymore, it's too hot." So I said, okay, brought it in and let it cool off. And this was right about the time Ranger's deciding that he needs to take a little break. So I tried diverting his attention for a little bit, but he wouldn't have any of that. So I said, okay. So we went on our walk and took a wonderful walk. And as synchronicity would have it, we ran into a neighbor that we never would have crossed paths had we not gone at just that moment. And it just so happened that we've never gotten to meet this neighbor, and he's actually sold the property already and is preparing to leave for good. So we probably may have never crossed paths, never would have met him. And subsequently answered a question that we had recently about the state of the property and where it was at and who was purchasing it. Just kind of some just kind of wonderings in our minds. So there again, we had asked the question and we received the answer, and synchronicity would have it that I was delayed just enough to have that particular moment. So very interesting how that worked out. And it also gave me the opportunity to have some water and I had some watermelon. I was like kind of almost got lost again in a meditation, basically standing there eating watermelon. And then I was guided to walk over to my bookcase, in which I have a book which has the phoenix on it. I should have grabbed it. I didn't. I should pause it. And I was guided to look at this phoenix and was remembering the idea of the resurrection and the crystalline consciousness and the Christ consciousness and what that actually means. And so I was walking over to, I've got pyramids there, and I was guided to my pyramid once again, and the symbol for fire, and the element is fire, the direction is south, and the property is protection. So, sorry, I couldn't get that out. And the property is protection. So I was seeing this idea of ourselves becoming free, and the phoenix rising from the ashes, feeling completely and utterly protected because there's nothing to fear. And that we're protected by our ancestors and our guides. And there's nothing to fear, because if we're connected to everything, there's nothing to fear, because everything is contained in everything, and everything is simply an experience. That this reality is simply an experience. And so I went back outside because I was going to finish the reading. And it was still very warm out there, and I decided, okay, I'm going to come in where it's cool, and give myself a little rest after the walk and after sitting outside for so long. And then I had some issues with one of my other devices, which was kind of funny. So that prompted me to make a switch. And so then I decided to move into this room, and then I decided now I'm facing south rather than on the other side when I was facing north. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So here I am, even in the break, I'm experiencing synchronicities. And even the heat of outside and the idea of this coming up from the flames and the fire, and yet the balance of knowing when it's time to cool it and cool off and integrate and allow ourselves to once again not look at it life as an interruption, but as a part of that whole expression of our own self, sending us messages by way of the meetings of other people. And how synchronicity often seems to deviate us from a path, when yet in reality it is the mechanism of creation in which it's actually guiding us and keeping us in the true core frequency of our true path. So interesting how talk about synchronicity. And interesting how when you become in the frequency and the intention of wanting to experience it, we experience it more and more, and then we once again realize more and more that we are the phoenixes, we are our own idea of freedom, that we are so powerful that we can experience the experience of lack of freedom, lack of power, lack of guidance, lack of anything, just as easily as we can experience the abundance of anything. And that is the arising. That is the revelation. That is the knowing. That is the secret to happiness, is knowing that it's about being in the now, being in the experience. Your experience is your purpose. And we continue to do it for the experience and the joy of it and the service of it and the expansion of it, even if we don't have to. Because what does have to? And if we could only imagine ourselves as having absolutely everything we needed, so whatever that means to you, whether it's, let's just say everyone in the world, where money was no longer an issue, object, whatever, if everyone in the world no longer had to strive to survive, oh, that's good. If none of us actually had to strive to survive, what would you be doing? Where would you be putting your energy? And everything is perfect and okay. Every answer is fine. But what would you be doing if you didn't have to do it to strive to survive? What would you be doing simply for the joy and experience of doing it? So for me, these are extremely profound messages that come just in the allowance of synchronicity. So with that, I'm going to take a pause of water, drink of water. And I want to remind everybody that water is the absolute highest vibrational frequency absorber and emitter and transmitter and transferer, bridge of energy in ways we haven't even begun to understand or explore. And we are made of mostly water for a very, very, very good reason. Many, many very good reasons. Salud. Oh, I just love synchronicity. So I noticed as I added up the time, right at that time stamp that I paused and took a drink of water, I'm looking at the time and I realized it equals 14, which equals today's date, which is a perfect serendipity following the video, following the last video. So these? Okay. I'm going to now read in the order in which I was guided to pull these cards earlier. And this is from the Native Spirit Oracle deck from Denise Lynn. And the first card that I pulled earlier was Ancestors. And there is the ancestral, the spiritual, the eagle, the soaring, the bird energy, the fire. Look at the fire in the sky. And the way that at that Stonehenge, that we know that Stonehenge symbolizes the equinox, the sun shining through, and that this solar eclipse that's coming, that I'm getting this energy right away, that solar eclipse that I move toward, I'm basically right in its path. And I couldn't remember if I said equinox. I meant to say solar eclipse earlier if I didn't. But this idea of the solar eclipse, it's like, okay, all of this is a perfect synchronicity for this whole message, this solar eclipse that's coming up in this age of Aquarius. There's something very, very serendipitous and ancestral and celestial with the energies reflecting with this solar eclipse that we haven't in this way experienced for hundreds or more years. And so, like, this part of the country, for example, hasn't experienced, I find that funny, for 500 years where I am right now, we haven't experienced this path of the solar eclipse and being 500 miles. I'm just hearing, and the number 5, which started this whole path for me today, with today's date equaling 5. So, wow. Just wow. The card meaning of ancestors. Wisdom is blossoming. Even if there are unsettling situations in your life, there's a reason for it, and much good will occur as a result. Your ancestors are sending you incredible support to fulfill your dreams. And that's exactly what I was feeling earlier. The support. The absolute no longer needing fear because of this constant support system that we have. This constant celestial support system. Be aware of the coincidences, signs, and... Oh my gosh. Beware. Be aware of the coincidences, signs, and synchronicities around you. You just can't make this stuff up, you guys. Watch for messages from your forebears. No matter what's occurring on the surface of your life, your prayers are being answered in mysterious ways beyond your awareness. Your native spirit wants you to know there's wisdom that dwells deep within your cells. That's a spiritual bequest from your ancestors. This wisdom has come not only from your forebears' joyous, carefree times, it has also bloomed from their failures, deflated dreams, and seemingly wrong turns in life. Part of their message to you is to cherish every experience, for all of it will deepen your wisdom, compassion, and understanding, as it did theirs. Also know that there's an innate wisdom within you, always. It's simply a matter of turning within in order to access it. Native people always call on their ancestors for support. To ask for their help is to walk the native path. Sometimes you may be focused on what's outside you, that you forget that wisdom is available to you from the spirit of your ancestors. Be willing to ask, for they want to support you. Imagine that you're traveling back in time to communicate and connect with the gathering of your ancestors. And this is exactly the image I was given today about actually visualizing connecting with them. Traveling back in time and literally having a conversation with them. But knowing that time is an illusion. There may be one or two particular forebears who seem to reach out to you. At different times in your life, different predecessors will be sending you support. Give thanks for the support. The more gratitude you have for their help, the more they send you blessings and guidance. And the next card I was guided to pull was from the Earth Magic Oracle deck by Stephen D. Farmer. and I'm just in awe of already the synchronicities just from the first card. And then when I pulled the shaman card, I was just, I am in awe of sometimes of my own, my own psychic images that I receive, and then the confirmations and the validations that I get. It still ripples through me in a way I can't even explain to you guys. And the ancient healing wisdom. And look at the eyes and that face, and the idea of this ancient healing wisdom, and our ancestors, and what they knew when they built this, and the celestial energy and information that was guided, that they were guided by, that they understood. And the back of this card, this deck, with the connections and the balance, and the image of that totem that I showed earlier. That's exactly what I was feeling with this too. What I just now saw, that was showing the image of from the video earlier. The ancient healing wisdom, the shaman, the deep compassionate eyes of this Native American shaman portray the wisdom of one who has seen and who knows. He has witnessed visions, spirits, suffering, and joy, and knows that everything that exists has spirit, intentionality behind it. Able to travel beyond the veil of ordinary reality. The shaman's primary assignment is to discern and maintain the balance. The balance between what his human community takes from the natural world and what it gives back. And this is what our ancestors knew. This is what they understood. When this relationship is out of balance, the shaman must do whatever is necessary to restore it. Balance equals healing. And this is what we are called to, this energetic telepathy with Earth, and these connections are reminding us of this balance, this giving and taking of the knowing instinctively when things are out of balance, and that we are needed to help restore the balance simply by being our natural selves, by doing what excites us, by following our joy, by following our synchronicities, by being aware of our own creations. And our excitement is the path. Our excitement is, our joy is the path. And that is the bridge to abundance. That is the bridge to the ability to be able to do what you want when you want. Ability to travel beyond the veil of ordinary reality. The shaman's primary assignment is to discern and maintain the balance. And this is what we're feeling right now. The shaman lives his life in ceremony and treats everything with reverence, including the great mystery of death and even the greater mystery of life. He works with his spirit helpers, including his ancestral spirits. Oh my God, you guys, including his ancestral spirits, to help him in his service to his people and to Mother Earth, providing a liaison, the bridge between the spiritual and physical worlds, charged with relieving suffering as one of his priorities. The shaman does so by first always tending to the spiritual wound, the source of all illness. And that's exactly how I feel, how healers feel, that we want to attend to the source of the wound, because we understand the ripple effect that this healing gives to all of humanity, the community of humanity. These healing powers have been passed along over the millennia from the ancient ones who knew the healing and curative powers of spirit. All illnesses, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, stem from illness of spirit. It may be due to soul loss, psychic intrusions, ancestral karma, or any other spiritual causes that could be contributing to the manifest condition for which you seek help. And rewind that and listen to that again, because that was very profound. Whatever other methodologies or remedies you pursue, whether allopathic, alternative, or a combination, let the healing of your spirit be your priority. Let the healing of your spirit be your priority. Know that the deepest spiritual wound is the illusion of being separate from Source, God, Great Spirit, or whatever name you give the Creator. It is the trick of the mind that creates the sense of separation. This is a time for deep healing, starting with your relationship with Spirit. Call upon your spirit guides and ancestors to help you with any emotional, mental, or physical healing that you need. Call upon the Creator to assist you in mending any rift in your relationship with Spirit. This is first and foremost, is your relationship to Spirit. This is the one and only relationship that matters and that needs to be mended. Because when we mend our relationship with Spirit, with our idea of Spirit, everything else automatically takes care of itself, and this is what changes the entire humanity, the entire community, the entire universe. Choose thoughts that support wholeness and well-being. Allow any darker thoughts or shadows to appear as well, but simply observe them as they arise in consciousness, then dissolve. See yourself as healed, whole, and complete, and it shall be. Every single message in here, I don't even think I even need to elaborate on, because it is absolutely everything. Every message I heard prior to even beginning the first video was everything that was said in this card. And I was a blue dragonfly at that moment flew into my existence. Now, I have been seeing these blue dragonflies everywhere. And where I used to live, I had dragonflies everywhere also, because we had a pond. And so this dragonfly and this dragonfly energy and this blue energy and this blue throat chakra energy and this activation energy, so as soon as I saw the blue dragonfly, now I had actually, when I was shuffling the cards earlier, the dragonfly card had flipped over. And I was asking even at the moment, I said, oh, is that one of the cards? And it was as if I heard, you'll almost like, well, you'll know the answer if it needs to be, or something along that line. So, or if it is to be, it will be. And it was sort of along that line. So then after I had pulled these two cards, the shaman and the ancestor and the shaman card, I heard, okay, then I saw the dragonfly and I said, okay, that was my answer. So I actually said, okay, well, if it's really meant to be, then I will find the dragonfly card in the deck right away. And sure enough, as soon as I picked up the deck, I bet you I moved 3 cards, and the dragonfly emergence. Look at that, guys. Emergence. The third eye, the connection to earth, the flowers, the white lotus coming out, becoming the lotus flower. That reminds me of my flower, my cactus flower that just bloomed. That blooms only one day, 24 hours, one night, every year, once a year, tells me to be present. that I'm here and I'm only here one day. Smell me, see me, enjoy me because I'm fleeting. And that all the fears are fleeting, your belief systems are fleeting, everything's fleeting, and watch it dissolve. And so this emergence, the phoenix, the coming out of the ashes, the freedom, the all of this, it was all so magical and synchronistic. And so I see this dragonfly, this emergence, and this beautiful emergence of this goddess just coming up out of the water, breathing, knowing she's one with everything, that she can breathe the air, the earth, the water, the ethers, that she is one with all things. So it truly took my breath away when I saw the meaning, when I saw the card, and so I was immediately just drawn to that confirmation of emergence and the phoenix and the thunderbird and the rising. In the stages of life, of the life cycle of a dragonfly, once the egg is laid upon a floating plant or dropped into the water, it gestates, hatches, and may remain for up to 4 years in this larval form called a nymph. This is a precursor to the dragonfly. Dragonflies skip the cocoon stage, moving from egg directly to nymph. At some point, the nymph climbs onto a rock or leaf and there emerges from its former body and takes on the shape and character of the adult dragonfly. This radiant being then proceeds to illuminate our eyes and hearts. Just look at that. Illuminating our eyes and hearts as we witness its dramatic colors and magical dance along the surface of the water. And look at that beautiful dragonfly there, laying its eggs on the lotus flower. Let's see what else I see in here. The flowers. All these beautiful green gossamer wings. At some point, the nymph climbs onto a rock or a leaf. There emerges from its former body, takes on the shape and character of the adult dragonfly. This radiant being then proceeds to illuminate our eyes and hearts as we witness its dramatic colors and magical dance along the surface of the water. In this card, we see a nature goddess, like the dragonfly, emerging from the water, her hair braided with vines dotted with flowers. She is surrounded, funny, and I took out my braid. Right as I came in, I took my braid out. Interesting. She is surrounded by dragonflies and is one with the vibrant plant life thriving in the pond. The goddess emerges from her gestation in the water, transformed, with a renewed sense of power and purpose. You are in an intense process of emergence into the next cycle of your life. Unlike more gradual shifts in awareness you have experienced, this one is happening quite rapidly and came on somewhat unexpectedly, without any pauses for contemplation or indecision. You may even think that you are unprepared for such dramatic changes in your life, yet you are prepared and can put to use the experiences and wisdom you have accumulated up to now. Life is demanding that you move into the next stage of maturity. This requires you to adjust your thinking about yourself, others, and your community. It calls for you to shed yet another layer of your ego-filled defenses and let go of any illusions of being less than who you are. And that dragonfly, she has let go of every single illusion that she is less than anything. This period of emergence, and look at her emerging, like the dragonfly, emerging, jumping over the process, knowing you can skip over the process just like that. This period of emergence is one of broadened consciousness and heightened perceptual capacities. Heightened perceptual capacities. Our capacity to perceive is heightened. Our capacity to perceive higher understandings, higher belief systems, higher knowledge, to circumvent what we thought we had to go through in pain and suffering, and to know it is ours now, that abundance is ours now. And since it is inevitable, it is best to surrender to the flow and allow yourself to gracefully move into the next cycle of your life. And I'm going to leave that there, and knowing that we understand now, we have the higher understanding and capability. And I encourage you all to go back and read and listen to this reading again, because it was so multidimensional and so multi-level, and it really flowed from the communications and the channeling I was getting earlier today, and in the message before in the video, and it truly magnifies this message of we are connected to all things all the time, and yet now this knowing, this ability to know that we are transforming. That's what all of this resurrection, this consciousness, this new rising from the ashes, this revelations, this time of ascension is all the same energy. It's all the same idea, wrapped in the fabric of all the understandings of our ancestors and our celestial and our native spirits, our nature spirits, our those that have come before us that we thought were less advanced. We're now understanding it's all a part of the same everything. The one is the all, and the all are the one. We are the one. We are the all. And all of these messages, regardless of what permission slip we're using to receive them, how we're being channeled the information, it's all coming from the same beautiful pool, ocean of information. And this is what our dolphins and our whale are here to show us also, that we're all from this ocean, this one beautiful ocean